First tonight, 5 officers shot, a suspect in custody. This all happening early this morning in Benton County. Agents of a drug task force attempting to issue a warrant when they were fired upon. It happened at a home in Dorado Township. That's about 30 minutes northeast of St. Cloud, about halfway between St. Cloud and Princeton. We have team coverage tonight. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard is live at North Memorial, where 3 of the officers were taken this morning. But let's start with Fox 9's Rob Olson live in Benton County tonight. So, Rob, it sounds like we did get an update from officials.
Yeah, 3 o'clock news conference this afternoon would shed more light on what occurred here today, but a lot of things that they could not answer. They say those details will be coming out in the following days here. As you can see behind me, still a very active investigation scene behind me here in Dorado Township. The BCA on scene to process all the evidence here, all the shell casings, and to figure out what is going on. Now, the suspect taken into custody, the suspected shooter, has a history of prior felony drug convictions, although those were years ago. But the sheriff here said he's very familiar with this suspected shooter and was not surprised at what happened.
They announced their arrival multiple times before entering the home.
It began just after 7 a.m. The Sherburne County Drug Task Force serving a warrant at this rural home in Benton County. They'd gone inside when gunfire erupted.
At one point, the officers came under fire. Multiple officers returned fire, and officers retreated to outside of the residence.
But 5 officers were hit, 3 of them from the Sherburne County Sheriff's Office, and 1 each from Elk River and Princeton police departments.
Because all were working in an undercover capacity, I cannot provide their names.
In the hours that followed, backup poured in, including multiple armored vehicles, and the suspected shooter, 64-year-old Carl Holmberg, came outside, sat on the back of a flatbed trailer as officers negotiated from behind cover. At 10:47 a.m., after firing non-lethal rounds, Holmberg was taken into custody, initially treated for an unknown injury at the scene, then loaded onto an air ambulance and taken to North Memorial. The sheriff didn't know exactly what Holmberg's injury is or how and when it happened.
Our agents are working to establish a timeline for how the incident unfolded, who fired and when, and what weapons were used.
The BCA is now processing the scene to determine exactly how many rounds were fired and from what, and reviewing body and squad camera video.
We know incidents like what happened today, are scary and unsettling for the community. We want everybody to know that we are working as quickly as possible to provide answers.
We asked, too, the details of the search warrant here, and they said they couldn't tell us anything more about that until it becomes part of court records. That'll happen in the coming days as well, but wouldn't say if the suspected shooter here is the one who was named in the search warrant, if it was just the property, somebody else. Again, we'll learn that in the days to come. Another woman was home inside at the time when the gunfire erupted. She was taken to another hospital, treated and released, checked out, and she's okay, and they're still investigating whether she played any role in this too, but she is not in custody. Live in Benton County, Rob Wilson.
A lot of support there today.
Yeah, Amy and Kelsey, most of the police vehicles are gone now, but we saw maybe a dozen or more of them lined up outside of the hospital this afternoon and this morning as that situation developed. Also saw family members and friends rushing into the hospital trying to get news and check in on their loved ones, and they mostly got good news. The staff here are treating a Sherburne County Sheriff's deputy plus 1 of those police officers from Princeton and another from Elk River. They all suffered gunshot wounds, but investigators are not releasing details about their injuries, just that they're all expected to recover. We also saw the suspect flown in by medical helicopter. Investigators say they don't know yet the extent or the cause of Holmberg's injuries. We do know that the other 2 Sherburne County deputies who were shot only took shots to their ballistic vests, and therefore they went to a hospital in St. Cloud, but they were treated and later released. All the patients here are said to have somewhat worse injuries. They are expected to recover, though, as I said, they'll just be here a little while longer. Live in Robbinsdale, Corin Hoggard, Fox 9.
Parking garage at that location. So I understand to investigate what's going on. At that point, the suspects were fired, and the officers striking one of our officers multiple times in the upper torso, striking the other officer, and both officers transported to the Methodist Hospital. And one officer was transported here, and the other officer was transported to Rockford. At 11:34 p.m., the officer transported here was pronounced. The officer that's Jefferson is in stable condition. The officer that was pronounced his family is here, not releasing his name just yet. We're going to have to notify his family that he's 50 years of age. He has 22 years in the police department. He spent a good portion in the 25th district before going to the airport unit. He said that multiple times this year. Second officer, he has 20 years in it. Tonight, just after 11 p.m., two airport police officers, Philadelphia police officers, assigned to the airport, were arriving at work, parked in the parking garage at that location. From what I understand, they exited their vehicle. At that point, they observed a few individuals breaking into another vehicle within the parking garage area. The officers approached and to socially interrupt or disrupt and investigate what's going on. At that point, the suspects fired on the officers, striking one of our officers multiple times in the upper torso, striking the other officer in the arm. Both officers were transported to originally Methodist Hospital, and then one officer was transported here, and the other officer was transported to Jefferson. At 11:34 p.m., the officer transported here was pronounced. The officer that was at Jefferson is in stable condition. The officer that was pronounced, his family was here, not releasing his name just yet. Notified his family that he's 50 years of age. He has 22 years in the police department. He spent a good portion in the 25th district before going to the airport unit. As I said, was shot multiple times and one in the body. The second officer is 16 years of age. He has 20 years. Assigned to the airport. The officer that was pronounced that was murdered tonight, he has one child, married with a child. They are here at the hospital. You can imagine heartbreak and devastating. That whole family not coming home tonight. So, yeah, a numb moment for us to encounter something like this. We just had 3 officers shot last week, and then this tonight. So you can imagine what we feel. You can imagine what this department is going through. And quite frankly, how the city is going to feel to know that this is happening. Two of the men that have served them for 20+ years has been done with his life tonight for the city of Philadelphia.
Do you have any information about the suspects or suspect?
So, during this entire ordeal, based on description of suspects, there is one individual that, during the same time this all happened, was transported by a private vehicle to CHOP, where that individual was pronounced. We can't confirm at this point in time whether or not that individual is involved. We don't know. It's a good possibility. Very similar to the suspect description. But that's something we can't confirm at this point. We're still investigating. This is, again, very early in the investigation. It's going to take some time to be able to piece all the things together. But yeah, that's what we have.
Can you confirm that it's a Dodge Durango?
That was the original description, and so that's the information that we have in terms of looking for that vehicle. But again, still
Time for news about.
In Delaware County, a traffic stop turned deadly overnight. Police accuse the suspect of driving his car into an officer, pinning that officer between his car and a police cruiser. The officer then opened fire, shooting the driver and his female passenger. She died. Our Jeff Cole is live in Newtown Square for us tonight with the new details. Jeff?
Yeah, it's certainly a remarkable and stunning story here. We actually know now that the driver of that vehicle's name is Jerry Long. He's from Devon, Pennsylvania. He's charged tonight with endangering and assaulting a law enforcement officer. He's also charged with aggravated assault involved with an overnight police shooting that led to the death of his female passenger. At the corner of Brookside and Ashley Roads in Newtown Township, neighbors knew the fatal police shooting began here overnight, but no one remembers seeing officers or the white Nissan they were after.
The vehicle initially had stopped. When the officer entered his vehicle, the vehicle had fled the scene.
Police say the Altima, with a 27-year-old man at the wheel and a 28-year-old female passenger, drove down Westchester Pike and onto Bryn Mawr Ave with police behind them. On Bryn Mawr, police say the vehicle stops and strikes two police cruisers before fleeing again. A quarter-mile away at Malin Road in Radnor, the incident turns fatal as caught on police radio.
Shots fired. Shots fired, 2313.
Police say the car stopped a final time and an officer approached.
The suspect vehicle lurched forward and pinned the officer between the suspect vehicle and the police vehicle. Subsequently, the officer fired his service weapon and struck the passenger in the vehicle and the driver.
The female passenger died at the scene. The driver survived and was taken to the hospital. Few in this neighborhood of stately homes and manicured lawns would speak of the incident. One man claiming to have seen the shooting from his upstairs office said the officer fired several times and was in the right. Recent police shootings, including the killing of a motorist in Kensington in August by a former city cop, have led to protests. The Delaware County DA will probe this shooting of suspects in a vehicle linked to recent thefts.
The vehicle had been involved in a police pursuit about 2 weeks prior in Radnor Township. I believe it was suspected in being involved in either thefts or burglaries in the residential neighborhoods.
And once again, the driver of the vehicle is 27-year-old Jerry Long of Devon, Pennsylvania. He's being held on $1 million cash bail. Police say he was driving on a suspended license, and he is wanted in the state of Delaware. Live in Newtown Township, Jeff Cole, Fox 29 News.
Right now, this is some breaking news we're following out of South Philadelphia. An armored truck driver shot while at a bank ATM on Columbus Boulevard. Now he is fighting for his life. We want to get right out to Shawnette Wilson with the latest. Shawnette, police just wrapping up a press conference about an hour ago or so ago.
So, Sheba, we have learned that the Brinks employee is 24 years old. He is in surgery right now, police say, after he was shot in the side. Behind me, you can see that police just began to clear the scene just a few moments ago, just taking down that yellow tape, the Brinks car being driven out of here just moments ago. Now, police do stress that this is all preliminary information as they're still piecing together what happened, so details may change. But here's what we know right now. It was just after 2:30 when the Brinks truck you see here pulled up to the drive-through ATM. This is the Bank of America ATM located at Columbus Commons Shopping Center on Columbus Boulevard at Snyder Avenue. So police telling us that this Brinks worker got out to load the ATM with money. He had the bag of cash in hand at the time. Police say two people got out of a gold or tan sedan, which they say backed into the driveway, blocking the Brinks truck. Both struggled with the victim. Police say at least one had a gun and shot the Brinks worker one time.
That shot entered his side. He did have a ballistic vest on, but we believe it missed the vest and entered him on the side. During that struggle, it looks like part of their firearm came apart. They did take his firearm, and they also took the bag containing the money, and they fled the area in that gold-colored sedan.
So police say that both those suspects were dressed in all black. Now, they do believe that there was a third person involved, possibly the driver of that getaway car. They've been looking at surveillance cameras from the bank and, of course, stores in this area to try to get a better look at the person who may have been inside that car. They also tell us the FBI is here on scene leading this investigation as Philly PD assists. Sheba?
All right, Shawnette, thank you. Reporting live for us from South Philadelphia.